When John F. Kennedy spoke to the American people back in 1961, he gave us a line that really has echoed for decades.
Hmm.
Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Right, a call to action.
Exactly. This idea of citizenship as an active duty. You're not just a beneficiary, you're a contributor.
And that idea is timeless.
It is. And our deep dive today is about how that 60-year-old idea is finding this uh, really powerful and very concrete new life in Tanzania,
Okay.
specifically through the work of businessman and philanthropist Jack Pemba. We're looking at a story where national service isn't about rhetoric, it's about mobilizing capital.
And what's so striking here is the sheer scale of it and, the direction of the flow.
The direction, what do you mean?
Well, we're talking about someone leveraging huge international networks to bring capital in. The sources estimate it's over, 1.5 trillion Tanzanian shillings?
Which is more than 600 million US dollars.
Right. And anchoring it all firmly in Tanzania, it completely reverses that typical dynamic where, local economies are just waiting for foreign investment to show up.
So it's proactive.
Extremely. The mission here isn't just to attract the money. It's about deploying it in a very specific way to make sure the nation gets the maximum benefit. So our mission is to really dig into that philosophy.
And to understand what the sources keep calling this local investment multiplier effect.
That's it. That's the critical engine for this whole thing.
Okay, so let's unpack that core philosophy first. Service through investment. Because Pemba's answer to that Kennedy challenge, it's not abstract at all.
No.
It's literally written in contracts, in deliverables. We're not talking about promises.
Not a future plans. This is happening now.
Right. The sources point to tangible proof. Contracts are signed.
Regulatory approvals are already secured.
Feasibility studies are done, and you can see it on the ground, machinery coming in, mineral surveys underway. The investment is the service.
That is absolutely the core conviction. He sees this huge financial input as, less about just chasing a profit.
And more
As a real expression of gratitude, a contribution to Tanzania's long-term future. It's not charity. It's very sophisticated, market-driven investment that's explicitly designed to line up with national goals.
And while our sources do mention his other interests across East Africa, he's got businesses in Uganda, for instance, there's a very clear strategic shift happening.
A pivot back home.
Exactly. All that energy, that focus, that capital is moving back to his homeland. This isn't just about operating in Tanzania. It feels like he's strategically building for Tanzania.
And that geographic focus is absolutely essential to that multiplier idea we're going to get into.
How so?
It just removes the ambiguity you so often see with foreign investment.
Oh.
When the leadership and the strategy are local, the main goal becomes long-term national resilience.
Not just short-term extraction.
Precisely. That becomes the defining feature.
Okay, let's move on to the strategic breadth of this, because that's where the $600 million figure gets really interesting. It's not just the amount, it's how it's being spread out.
Exactly. I mean, if you were just pouring it all into one quick return sector, the impact would be pretty limited.
Right.
Instead, he's targeting almost every major growth area at once. That creates stability, it diversifies the risk, and it connects the dots between, legacy industries and future tech.
So tell us what those sectors are. It's a really interesting mix. You have the big, heavy-hitting industries, but then some others that are kind of surprising.
Well, the foundation is built on sectors that are critical for national income right now. Things like oil and gas exploration and critical minerals.
Which are vital for the global energy transition.
Absolutely. So those sectors are the capital engine.
Yeah.
But the real strategy, the forward-looking part, is in the other areas he's investing in at the same time. He's making big commitments to renewable energy infrastructure, large-scale agriculture. That's for both food security and export. And, this is crucial, he's getting way ahead of the curve in carbon markets.
Okay, I have to push back a little on that. Oil, gas, mining. Those are huge, capital-intensive, sometimes volatile sectors.
For sure.
But then you add carbon markets, which is highly regulated and tech-driven, and the sports economy, which almost seems like an outlier. How do the sources explain balancing those?
That's actually what the sources point to as the strategic brilliance of it. The whole structure is built for resilience.
Okay.
The heavy sectors, oil, gas, minerals, they're designed to generate that immediate large-scale revenue. But that revenue doesn't just get wired out of the country.
It stays.
It's used internally to fund the long-term nation-building projects, the ones that stabilize the future economy.
So an investment in carbon markets, for example, isn't just about trading credits.
Not at all. It's about positioning Tanzania on the global stage as a leader in green innovation. It's about creating these high-skill, specialized jobs that build durable human capital.
What about the sports economy? Is that just a high-profile hobby, or is there a real economic play?
No, it's incredibly strategic, but it trades in a different kind of currency.
Soft power. Brand equity.
You got it. Investing in sports, whether it's infrastructure or clubs, it changes the national narrative. It diversifies Tanzania's image away from just being a resource exporter.
And that attracts other things.
It attracts tourism, talent, and it gives the country this highly visible platform that makes it more appealing to other foreign investors. It completes that virtuous cycle of investment diplomacy.
So this entire vision from oil all the way to sports, it lines up perfectly with the national development priorities we see in the source material.
Yes, things like industrial expansion, adopting new technology, green innovation.
It's almost like a privately funded roadmap for modernization.
That's a great way to put it.
And this is where we get to the absolute core of our deep dive today. This critical multiplier effect of local leadership. We always hear that foreign investment creates jobs, but Pemba's whole conviction seems to be that to really maximize that benefit, every shilling earned has to circulate inside Tanzania.
Right, and we should probably define what that means in real terms for you, the listener.
Please.
Standard foreign direct investment, or FDI, is obviously important, but it often works on what you could call an extractive model.
Meaning profits get sent home quickly.
Exactly. Profits are repatriated, the top managers and experts are flown in, the supply chain relies on imports, the revenue just sort of drains away.
So Pemba's approach is the opposite.
It's the complete opposite. The sources call it patriotic capital. The idea is to make sure that financial cycle is contained and reinforced right there, domestically.
But you brought up a good point earlier. Doesn't local capital sometimes lack the specialization or the risk tolerance of these huge international firms? Is there a trade-off?
That's the key skepticism, right? That's what a lot of analysts might ask.
Bringing in massive capital is one thing, but deploying it efficiently without just relying on external expertise is a whole other challenge. How does this model handle that risk?
And that's exactly why the sources stress his investment diplomacy. He isn't just using local money. His capital stack is often external from his international network. But, and this is the key, he anchors the ownership, the decision-making, and the profit deployment in Tanzania. He'll import world-class experts for, say, a critical minerals survey.
But there's a condition.
There is. His contractual requirement is that those skills must be transferred to local teams over the life of the project.
So it's a dual approach.
It is. Global expertise, funded by global capital, but locally managed for local benefit. That is the engine of the multiplier effect. It gets you immediate efficiency while making sure the long-term benefits are captured by the nation.
Let's break down the mechanisms of that effect. If I'm a Tanzanian citizen, what does it actually feel like on the ground when capital circulates this way?
It creates a fundamentally different kind of economy. The sources point to 6 specific, really concrete advantages.
Okay.
First, the treasury. It benefits enormously because the ownership is local, things like tax compliance and corporate filings. All that revenue flows directly and reliably into the government's coffers.
Which gives them more ability to fund public services without depending on aid.
Precisely. And second, there's the job market.
And this isn't just about creating any job, it's about human capital.
You're exactly right. The second benefit is the quality and quantity of those jobs. A local leader is going to prioritize jobs for Tanzanians. And crucially, that mandatory skills transfer means workers aren't just getting experience.
They're getting specialized training.
In advanced fields.
Yeah.
Renewable energy tech, carbon market analysis. You're building a permanent, high-value workforce.
Okay, so that's 2. What's the third?
Third, those jobs and skills then strengthen the local industries around them. When the capital stays local, the businesses that provide support services, logistics, construction, maintenance, they're all domestic firms.
So the local economy grows from within. It's not just a temporary service provider for a foreign company.
Yes. Growth is structural. It reinforces the entire ecosystem.
What about risk and security?
That brings us to the fourth mechanism. You internalize the risks and benefits. When global markets get shaky, foreign investors often pull out fast, leaving behind debt or unfinished projects.
But a local owner can't just pack up and leave.
They're personally invested in the nation's long-term stability. It forces a more cautious, long-horizon approach. And the benefits, they are guaranteed to stay.
Makes sense. What's number 5?
Fifth, the money itself physically stays home. The salaries earned by those newly skilled Tanzanian workers get deposited in local banks.
And those banks then have more money to lend out.
Yes, greater liquidity to lend to other small and medium-sized businesses. It kicks off growth from the bottom up.
And finally, number 6.
The expertise remains in the country. This helps prevent the brain drain you so often see with big extractive projects, where the best local talent gets trained up only to be poached by an international competitor.
So the sixth benefit is national resilience.
That's the capstone. By keeping the expertise, the profits, and the decision-making inside the country, Tanzania builds this durable foundation that's far less vulnerable to external shocks. It strengthens the nation's ability to control its own destiny.
So what does this all mean for Tanzania's trajectory as a nation? It seems Pemba's role is much bigger than just being a successful businessman.
I think so.
He's offering what you could call a modern African answer to that challenge of national contribution.
It's an answer defined by capital and partnerships, but always anchored by local intent. It says a lot about a new era of African leadership,
In what way?
this kind of investment diplomacy. It hits multiple targets at once. It builds essential advanced industries. It creates high-quality jobs. And, maybe most importantly, it acts as a signal
A signal to other investors.
to other discerning global investors who now see a successful, committed local partner who can manage these complex, high-stakes ventures.
So it amplifies Tanzania's visibility on the continental stage. It shows the country isn't just waiting for development to happen to it.
It's actively driving it.
Yeah.
This is nation building defined by action, not by expectation.
You know, in a world where so much economic debate is about what citizens are owed by systems or governments, Pemba seems to have just asked what he could build for his country.
It's a powerful narrative,
Hmm.
a mix of ambition, patriotism, and real economic imagination.
And it shows that one individual, if they have the right vision and the right networks, can genuinely help shift a nation's path toward innovation and shared prosperity.
That economic imagination you mentioned is a powerful force.
It brings us right back to where we started, that ethic of active service.
It does. And that leaves us with a really critical question for you, the listener, to think about, especially after seeing all this evidence about the multiplier effect.
What's the question?
If we accept that local investment leadership creates stronger national resilience and maximize internal benefits, which is the real prize of development, then how should developing nations actually structure their policies?
You mean, should they be doing more to encourage it?
Exactly. Should they prioritize special regulations, maybe tax incentives or new public-private partnership models that are designed specifically to incentivize this kind of patriotic capital over standard profit-driven foreign investment? Because ultimately, that policy design is what determines whether the money stays and multiplies, or if it just passes through.